Enjoy your afterlife.
The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creatives where we sit down, often with a special guest, and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry. Welcome to the Halloween special. Today is a casual chat. Greg's actually still on holiday, but I have Tom Armstrong with me today, and we're going to be talking about our horror stories. Not just ours, we're going to be reading out a few horror stories that people have sent in, and also that we found on Reddit that we think are entertaining. This is really just a casual listen. This is not really for education, I wouldn't say, although we'll be giving tidbits on how to avoid said horror stories, if said horror stories can be avoided. However, in the meantime, what are we drinking, Tom?
Today we're drinking the Marchtown blend from Southside Roasters. Again, one of my favourite coffee shops in Glasgow. I don't know if we've had this one on before.
I would assume that we have, because we haven't brought any new coffee in for a while.
Yeah, well, when Gregg's away, everything falls apart.
That's right, people, that's right.
It's delicious.
I really wanted to get a hold of the Good Coffee Cartel's Upside Down.
Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't
which
we?
is the Narcos. We've got the Narcos in, but it's Gregg's, and I don't want to drink it without him. We've got that in, but it's like, it's a mix between two beans.
Yeah.
But it's like 60-40.
But it's flipped.
But the upside
Hence
down
the
is flipped.
upside down.
It's I wanted to get some, but it's very limited edition, and I just didn't have time to do that.
For the next one.
Well, I don't even think there'll be any left.
Well, we can reach out to some of our contacts.
I suppose we know people. But yeah, why have I been so busy? Because like we said, Greg's not here, and wedding season's passed. However, that means as videographers, we have a stack of weddings to edit.
Oh, that lovely backlog.
It is tasty long.
And gets us all.
It does. I always find it funny when photographers complain about their editing queue.
Careful.
I know, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but obviously they can get through weddings in like, I mean, I've heard some do two weddings in a day.
Yeah. 2
weddings in a day?
Yeah.
That's unheard of, man.
Well, it's not, because you've heard of it.
Well, okay, it is. Okay, asterisk for a videographer.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. I would love to.
Like, to maintain a quality, you need a certain amount of time.
Yeah. And although you said you did a wedding in, what was it?
2 days. I managed to turn around one start to finish in 2 days. I mean, that was 14-15 hour days. And, you know, stuff was ingested beforehand, so it was like jumping into the project. But I just got my head down. It was a fairly... It was a wedding where everything went right. There was nothing to try and fix. There was no problems on the day. It was fairly standard in terms of, you know, just a nice standard wedding. So that made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, a good film. Client was really happy with it. So unfortunately, not all can be done in 2 days. But no. I literally didn't leave my flat. I locked myself in. I did shower, but yeah, that was an intense couple of days. But
yeah,
it's just part of it. Good fun.
Just looking around the Cinemate office, Tom, how would you describe it in words? As opposed to visual cues, which I don't think would help the listener.
How many words?
As many as you feel adequate.
Total fucking mess.
It is. And let me tell you why.
Because you're super unorganized and Greg's not here.
So we haven't recorded we haven't recorded a podcast for a while. And there was this time a few weeks ago where we set out to do quite a lot of work. We had, obviously we came back from Austin, that was all great. But then we headed up to Skye, great elopement. Yeah. That was more actually a wedding. which is now going to change the way that we word our contracts and our packages, because if it's just a couple, elopement. if there's 10 guests with speeches, it's a
small
wedding.
Yeah, it's a small
and it was a
wedding.
wedding, so which is fine. It's fine. But we headed straight from Skye over to Inverness. Did a kind of barn wedding there at Bogbane, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was Bogbane. And then travel back down, stay the night over to prepare for Iceland, because it was
Oh yeah.
Marta Pecura and Nordica.
Have you talked about that? Yeah.
Not yet, but we shall do in detail on another podcast when Greg gets back.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was great fun. But then when we came back, Greg was straight away to Florida for a 2-week holiday, and I was.
Who takes holidays?
We do.
What's a holiday?
We do at the most inconvenient time, when there's like a massive backlog.
Yeah. See, if I went on holiday right now, I'd be taking work. Like, I'm traveling a lot over the next couple of months, and I am going to be working on the road like all the time.
Yeah.
Because, I'd like to be in a nice office when I can control the temperature, access the coffee, comfort. But no, I'll be. It's just what you need to do.
Yeah. Living rough on the road.
Absolutely. Rockstar life.
Yeah. So I'm also just back from holiday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was we took the kids and the family to. The kids are the family, but I mean the kids and the wife. The kids and the wife.
The family.
I butchered that one. Oh, my goodness.
One wife, 3 kids.
I took them down to Centre Parks.
Did you?
I did, but not the Scottish one.
Were you at Centre Parks?
I was at Centre Parks. Do you know this?
No.
Oh, I had a wonderful trip at Centre Parks.
I've not seen you in like a fortnight.
That's very true. We have been very busy.
Is it Winterfell?
No.
Wait, is that something from Game of Thrones?
That is absolutely something from Game of Thrones. Yeah.
So you went to the King's Landing one, yeah?
Yeah. Fought those dragons was great.
Oh man, that's embarrassing.
Anyway, yeah, so we don't go to the one in Scotland, or just, the nearest one to Scotland.
I didn't think there was one in... Oh, right,
So it's Penrith.
Yeah, that's the one I used to go to.
Which is like 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Still very close.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's obviously the Scottish summer holidays.
Sherwood?
That is one of them. Is that the one we went to? We went to the one in Suffolk, which is like 7 to 8 hours away
bloody hell.
in the car. And we did that because with the school holidays in Scotland being at the same time, they tend
Price
to rise. Yeah, they tend to go crazy with their pricing. So we got the holiday 3 times cheaper. So we just...
So instead of only being able to take one child, you could take them all.
We could take all 3.
Good.
Yeah, that was good math there.
I know I'm not great at maths, but like 1, 2, 3 I can sort of cope with.
Yeah, and see, if you've got kids, man, Centre Parks is just great. You feel your day full of activities. Even not activities, you can go swimming, which is free, and we spent six hours in the pool.
I don't think that's healthy.
6 hours. Oh, we were just going up and down the slides. The kids were loving it. Right. I couldn't believe it.
I'd be exhausted.
No, 100% exhausted. But yeah, great place for a family. But
I've not been in a while.
Definitely the kind of holiday that you need another holiday afterwards to recuperate. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. It's hardcore.
Right. So it's not like a relaxing break.
No relaxing.
It's more of an adventure holiday.
Yes. And in the middle, your kids get kind of bratty because they expect to be doing certain things, and no, I want to be going to the pool. And
you need to teach your children about expectation.
Discipline them. Talking about discipline, let's get into these horror stories, Tom.
I mean, that was not the best link, but yeah, it'll do. That was a horrendous link, so let's keep it on brand.
Some could say that was a horrific segue.
So we reached out to some various groups that we're part of on Facebook, and people we may or may not know, just because we had the idea the other week it's Halloween coming up and we should do some sort of thematic podcast. So we thought, horror stories, things go wrong.
That's right. And Greg's not here to control us, so
does Greg know about this?
I don't think he does.
All of this today, it's totally anonymous, so if you're listening and it was you, then obviously you'll know. Or if you know the person, you've probably chatted about it or something. But it's nothing bad. It's just I think it's a bit fun as well, keeping it anonymous. And there's no need for names.
I would agree.
And if it wasn't anonymous, we wouldn't have gotten anything.
That's true.
Yeah, Simon, I say you just kick off.
All right. Cool. Okay. Past wind really badly as the bridal car arrived. There was no breeze and it was a lingerer, so it just stayed as the bridesmaids walked through the fart cloud. I was given an angry look by one of the bridesmaids, so I made a face like the smell just hit me, and so I looked at the photographer with a face of disgust, who had no idea I was blaming them.
Ooh.
That's a shame. Obviously, it's a videographer, because who else works alongside?
Oh, right. Yes. For a moment there, I was like...
So I feel like giving the video a bad rap, but you know what?
Not necessarily a video. It could have been a planner, a florist.
I feel like a planner and a florist
celebrant?
wouldn't do that. Oh, it could have been a celebrant.
Yeah.
The good thing is I haven't written names, so I genuinely don't know who gave me these stories.
Oh, I do.
You do? Oh my goodness.
That's...
Have we had anything like that happen to us?
I'm gonna have to say no.
Mm.
Because I can't throw myself under the bus. Anonymity.
That's very true.
Nothing sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes to mind.
I suppose in the end this isn't really that bad because he's outside, the bridal car just arrives.
Yeah,
You
but
think,
there was no breeze and it was a lingerer.
Well, you can create breeze. You can just walk away.
Well, that one's that was quite a fun one to kick off with because we are grown adults, but I think everyone at some level will always find something like that funny. You've got to. It's good to laugh.
It is good to laugh.
The next one's a bit... shall I take this one?
Let's go for it.
It's been a while. Worked one wedding in 2014 with food poisoning. Ooh. As the venue was so far away and quite a popular date, no one was available to cover, so I had to take a few pills and soldier on myself. I made it to the venue fine and filmed a spot of bridal prep, but my fever got worse as the day went on. I spent the ceremony either slowly swaying from side to side or clutching the wall for fear of collapsing mid-vows. Whoa. Drinks reception, I would stand for a few minutes, film a few candids and then sit for 5 to 10. After about half an hour, I went to the marquee and spent the rest of my time filming detail shots so to be away from the guests in case of any mishaps. I would need to visit the toilet at least once each hour.
Ooh.
The rest of the day went without a hitch until I threw up in front of the groom as I ran out the marquee after the first dance. I felt much better after that, but I have yet to receive a critique on their wedding film. That's a sore one. That's tough, like.
Yeah, so this is a great one to talk about, actually, because you can talk about a few aspects of being a wedding supplier. One of them being networking. Obviously, this person says he couldn't get cover for a popular date. And that is unfortunate because it's a popular date.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, networks, man. They save you on days where, you're not feeling that great.
I mean, you can't help it. Like in some jobs, like, you get a sick day, then, you just don't show up to work, spend the day recovering, still get paid for it. So that's fine. But like a wedding day, obviously, like, you don't really have a choice. So it's super important to maintain, as you said, a network. And I think, speaking on our behalf, I think we're very privileged to know the people we know. Mm-hmm. And we've got so many friends in the industry, not just filmers, like loads of different suppliers. Yeah. And that, that helps for recommendations or just, getting out the house. Mm-hmm. But it also helps for when something like this happens or if you need last minute cover. Because it happens, like accidents happen, things go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't help it.
We are human after all.
We are. And a lot of the time it's out with our control. So we see fairly frequently, and this is across a large volume of people, but we see fairly frequently cover spots getting filled and, heroes coming to the rescue.
Absolutely, man.
And I think there's a sort of, between a few of us, there's a sort of rule that we have that your batteries are always charged, even if you're shooting or not at the weekend. And if you've got a weekend off, you're sort of prepped to go at the last minute. Yeah. And, that can really, really help someone. And especially for the client, because obviously that's the most important thing. So, because you hear horror stories of just suppliers sometimes not showing up, and not often, but it's been seen that someone will be like, oh, I've just got a call from one of my previous brides and her tog's not showed up or her filmer's not showed up and it's an hour before the ceremony, I don't know what to do, and you just can't. That's just horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible
on a big day.
Yeah,
because the client should have the day run smooth without them having to know anything's happening.
Yeah, 100%.
So if there's any problems, you deal with it. It's like, as we know, if we're shooting and there's a malfunction or an issue or something, you can't just sit in the corner with your head in your hands and just go you need to like just put a brave face on and just act like it's all okay.
100%. So obviously this person obviously sounds like he does have a network. She does have a network. They just busy date.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a busy day, like there's
nothing you can
everyone
do.
Will be out.
So in case of emergencies like this, Greg and I keep drugs
like
in our bag. Legal drugs in our bag.
Yeah.
And here are some of the necessary ones. Because someone asked this recently who was ill on
there's some go-to that everyone should have in their
Imodium.
bag. Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what Imodium is, it slows your bowels down so you don't, that's almost a necessity. Something with electrolytes. Because you wanna have those electrolytes and you want to keep hydrated.
Well, I mean, for me, like, famously, I'm known for taking 6 bottles of Lucozade Sport Orange to
that is 100%.
every single wedding.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm not on my game. I don't know what it is, but I think it's a combination of the water and all of that sugar and the psychological part of it as well.
Yeah.
But,
well, if you don't like all the sugar, Barocca.
Never met her.
That's awful. That's a horror story just there. Barocca. I mean, Greg loves a Barocca in the morning. Push.
Well, what's the
Perks 'em up.
tagline? It's like,
I have no
be
idea.
your best day, or
Be your best day.
have a good one.
Have a good one.
I don't write copy for companies.
Don't quit your day job. Let's move on to the next one. Shot a wedding where one of the ushers was steaming. It's a Scottish word for drunk, but decided it would make perfect sense in his full kilt outfit to do the worm. The old classic 80s dance.
Classic.
Despite everyone warning him against the idea, he proceeded to start his epic breakdancing. Down he dives, does one movement, then shrieks. Grabbing at his shin, he takes down his sock to reveal a steady stream of blood dripping out a gash in his leg.
Oh,
that does not sound good.
Oh,
I should have taken out my ski and do from my sock, he says. In case you don't know, a ski and do is also part of the Scottish kilt attire. It is a small dagger that lives in the right sock.
Sorry, quick interjection.
Sure.
Did not know how that was spelt.
Yeah, I know. I had to double check that.
I had never. That's terrible of me. I've only ever heard it. I've never read it. Sky and
Yes, interesting, and that is right. I actually thought it was spelt wrong.
No, that looks a bit right. Because it'll be Celtic. Gaelic or something.
To make it worse, he starts poking the unsheathed ski and do into the new hole in his leg. At this point, I'd had enough and walked away before I vomited.
That's brutal. That is not where I thought it was going to go.
Me neither, actually.
That story, because we've not really properly read these, so it's new to us as well. So you get some sort of reaction. But
yes, that's evident by my quality reading here. I like how the guy didn't seem to bother that much.
I've got a feeling.
I mean, he shrieked.
I've got a feeling that our old friend alcohol is involved, which is famously numbs pain.
Yes,
but
indeed.
Even still, a stab wound, you're gonna feel that. I wonder if that's scarred.
Talking about blood on the dance floor.
Terrible band.
My wife, when we got married, my wife took off her shoes to dance. Obviously, one of my guests had dropped a glass, and she had stepped right into the glass, cutting her foot. And yeah. Actually, my wife was relatively injured our wedding.
Relatively?
Yeah, so that's another horror story, but not wedding related. So on the day of her hen do before she leaves, my wife used to own a Curves gym, a gym for women. And in the back there was a huge old safe, like from the 1930s, big heavy door. Like you can picture this huge big iron thing. Anyway, she's doing her documents. The last thing she does is to put the documents in the safe and shut the safe door. Sounds great. But when she shuts it and she's getting really excited, she actually leaves her left hand she leaves her left hand down because it's a little bit lower. She balances herself by putting her hand on the safe, and she slams her thumb tip in the door. So there's a good few pictures of her bloody thumb. So on her wedding day, she actually has this huge big looks like she's having a great time, like
Brilliant.
thumbs up, yay!
It's like, I'm really happy to be marrying Simon.
But she can't drink, and then she goes and steps in the glass. Like,
rough.
man. Let's continue.
So
Good old
this one is
stories.
more proposal story, apparently. So this could be interesting.
Oh yeah, okay.
This person says, bride comes home to find she's been burgled, and the guys had made a total mess, trashed the house, everything everywhere in every room. As she went through each room, scared shitless, she noticed one had the walls graffitied with the words, "Will you marry me?"
No, that can't be right.
And she said yes.
Whose idea was that?
That is
a horrible idea. And she said yes.
That's rough.
I hope he had to clean it up.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with the old, like rose petals, bottle of champagne, and swan towels?
Yeah, the old classic.
Never failed me.
Yeah. Alternative proposal that would go under.
Well, there's alternative, and then there's psychologically damaging. There's a fine line.
Well, let's not judge too harshly, though. I feel bad saying that. It is someone's proposal, after all.
No, true. I'm not judging. I'm just saying it wouldn't be the first idea I would have. You'd have to really know your partner's like, that was laughs.
Yes.
And
I would love to know
suppose-
her reaction.
Well, she said yes, but in the immediacy, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's been filmed. That's the kind of thing, that would.
You'd really want that to be filmed.
That'd be my first thought. Documented.
But then, I mean,
fear.
so for this, I went on YouTube to see videos. That wouldn't help the podcast because this is not a visual platform. Duh.
Clearly.
However, there are hundreds of stories where proposals go wrong,
Oh yeah,
and they're very entertaining.
yeah. It's a shame.
It is a shame.
But I mean, I guess since we see so many go well, that we need to sort of level it out with ones that don't go so well.
Yes, I suppose so.
That's brutal. That's quite interesting.
One of the videos I saw actually was, and I've seen it before. I'm sure many people have seen it before. It's just a safe angle on a ceremony, and I can't remember if it's during the vows or whatever, but the celebrant's not talking, and you can see her
Oh yeah.
kind of worry and panic,
Oh yes.
and then all of a sudden she just dives to the side, and it was not.
a wee tactical chunder.
Yeah, I feel that's really
That could be a food
unfortunate.
poisoning thing. This is supposed to be anonymous, Simon.
I know, but it's
So Simon's going to tell a story of an unnamed filmmaking company that I'm sure you're all at this point very familiar with.
so Cindy Matty are shooting an elopement, and it's going great. In fact, the whole day is great, but there is one mishap. So we're in Glencoe, a very mountainous region, quite famous in Scotland. Gregg has his new Mavic drone, Mavic Pro drone, not the 2, the original one, and he tests it out. He goes for a wee fly. Sounds great. What he thought was the case that the Mavic 2 had back sensors. What Gregg thought was that the drone had back sensors. So as he's trying to get this great shot of the 3 sisters, he actually backs up
I thought it was an elopement. Why were there 3 sisters there? Sorry.
Oh, that's the name of the range.
Yes, I'm aware.
Anyway, so Gregg backs up to get all the 3 sisters in. However, he backs up into the adjacent mountain. Gregg from Cinemate
Oh yeah. Gregg.
flies backwards into one of the biggest objects you could probably fly into, a mountain.
I would just like to point out at this point that I'm sure many of you are obviously familiar with Glencoe and this particular part of it. Now, there is a lot of space.
Yes.
And also, and my opinion. I mean, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but when I look at like a hill range or mountain, they're generally quite big, to the point that I would be like, I can see that. I should probably, steer clear or
100%.
fly clear.
100%.
But Gregg from Cinemati spectacularly managed to crash into the most obvious thing. To be honest, I
mean, we've all done it. We've all crashed our drone into something that we thought was closer.
I have never no, I retract my statement.
See, even you've done something. Everyone's crashed their drone.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it
even Stuart and Alina.
I'm sure they've got many crashes under their belt.
They just obviously they don't tell anyone about it. So we've got another one. Shooting a wedding seems to be a 2-man team, and this is just before the ceremony. So it's in a hotel. Ceremony seems to be set up. Everything's running smooth. So I think one of the guys is inside, and the other person is outside the front of the venue, waiting on the bride to arrive in the car. And then I think the guy says that he was waiting for quite a while, and then he gets a text from his second saying, "Where are you? The bride's about to come down the aisle." So the guy has to rush in and sees the bride there, standing with her father, because they thought that the bride was arriving from elsewhere, when in fact she'd been getting ready in that hotel and had never left the building.
Wow.
So the person has to run past the bride and her father just before they go down the aisle, as if everything's absolutely fine, daggers from the second, and go down the front and start shooting. So yeah, my thoughts are with that guy. I'm sure that can't have been a nice experience.
Did this guy not realize? Was he not shooting preps?
I don't think this guy was. If he was shooting preps, I think he would have figured that out.
Yeah.
I don't think this person would have went outside to wait on the bridal car that will never arrive, had he known.
This is kind of one where I thought the kill story was going to go, actually. There has been several times where I've been kneeling, and this is not me, it's the person, getting a shot of a little flower girl or ring bearer coming up the aisle, and one or more women will be sitting in full view with their knees apart while wearing a short skirt. Yelp. That gets cropped. So obviously that happens a lot in Scotland, where guys are famously known for not wearing boxers and they kind of man spread. So I thought the story before with the kill, I thot that was going to be...
What's a man spread?
You know, when you're just sitting down, you spread your legs. It's a man spread, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
What, you sit down?
Yeah, but you sit down with like, as if you own the entire length of a seat.
Well, if you're on a seat, why?
Seats. I mean,
why
3
would
seats. A pew. You own the whole pew.
Right. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the term. It's like even people who don't, like, if you're wearing trousers, if you go into like a train and you sit down, as a man, you sit down like that.
What trains are you getting on that you can sit on? Man, I never get those.
Trains have seats. Okay. Next one.
So somebody says, after 10 years of wedding photography, the moment before the ceremony where the groom sneezed a bloody nose onto the front of the bride's beaded dress.
Oh
no. Apparently he gets bloody noses when he gets nervous. Stopped all photos and got emergency Sprite soda cleaning done in the hotel ceremony location. Was asked to delete all photos and keep the situation from the mother of the bride. Bride was surprisingly understanding. 2 hours of pre-ceremony photos cut short, but the blood was removed quick enough to not be noticeable for the ceremony. After review, I had a perfect mid-sneeze shot with blood flying out of the groom's face. Sad to see that one edited. So, props to the photographer for that. I'm sure we know a lot of photographers and filmmakers. We've all got these little tricks for cleaning things off of dresses, which seems to be, because it's a fairly common thing. I mean, a big white dress is just asking.
It is.
For, I mean, rarely blood, but I've seen blood on dresses.
Blood's really hard to get out. And the red
Yeah.
contrast. Oh.
And apparently you don't pour white wine on it. I mean, last thing I would want to do
soda
is
though,
like,
baking soda.
yeah,
In fact, what was their
Sprite soda.
Sprite soda?
Is that just like
Well,
Sprite the juice,
well,
but soda because it sounds American?
With Jack was designed from the ground up and is tailored specifically for creatives. Whether you provide a service like design, development or photography or offer advice to clients, With Jack is for you. It's focused on creatives. Insurance shouldn't be complicated, so With Jack has made every step easy. You'll deal with one form and talk to one Jack as you sign up, get covered and move on with your day. With Jack is all about bespoke insurance for creatives. Simple. That doesn't mean more forms or faff, it means less. It's not about endless features and stale service. It's about one solid policy and the personal touch. Bye-bye unnecessary fuss. Hello, creative friendly insurance. Be a confident creative. Hello, Susie. How are you doing? Good. Come on to the mic. Yeah. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you know what we've been talking about today?
No.
Horror stories.
Funny thing, that one.
It is a funny thing. Because you've been having one hell of a week, haven't you, Suze?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
You want to talk about it? You don't need to give names or anything, but you've kind of been dealing with nightmare clients.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough. It's been a tough couple of months, actually, and it's been, I don't know, it's, how do I put it? It's driving me down. It's making me want to quit, but it's a new day, and I thought, you know what? I came in smiling. I saw Tom as well earlier. And
Oh, you did on the way down?
I was like, oh, hey! And I almost forgot when he said, oh, I hope you're having a better day. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm having a great day. But yeah, like from yesterday and whatever. It's just, do I want to talk about it though? Ooh, These are the horror stories.
Some of them.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
there's so many.
I know, we did not get through half of them. So, Tom has actually left the studio. We've done the first part. It was going to be a short episode, but now Susie's seen all the stories, and she got excited. She wants to now
Read a few.
read a few of them.
So I guess this one will be the next one because it's cut off here. So it'll be this
Yeah,
one. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
let me start reading. This is exciting. So my brother is a videographer who used to do weddings when he first started out. He once showed me a video of a bridesmaid falling down an entire long flight of stairs. The reception was at a classy hotel and they were introducing the bridal party in this lobby that had a beautiful staircase as the focal point. So not only were all of the guests there watching, but a ton of random people too. When she took her first step, the heel on her shoe went inward instead of straight up and down, sending her head first down like 20 steps, at the bottom of which she actually landed on her feet before sluggishly making her way off camera. On the video, oh my god, on the video you can hear the father of the groom tell the brother, "That bitch was top heavy."
Oh,
That's a shame.
that is a shame.
And started laughing hysterically. Oh, and she wasn't wearing underwear. Oh,
no.
Damn. It was caught in video too. Need to see that. Gosh. Okay, let's see.
I kind of want to go and find that video just to see how brutal a fall it was.
20
To land on your feet though, that's
steps, quite
good.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of bridesmaids choose not to wear underwear anymore. I think a lot of the dresses are just like really tight and they're like,
Really?
oh, I'm just going to take my underwear off.
Oh,
So yeah, be careful of that,
mm.
girls.
Yeah, no horror stories for you. Wear underwear.
Next one is a drunk maid of honour giving drunk father of the bride a lap dance.
Oh, God.
With non-drunk mother of the bride sitting right next to him. Then drunk maid of honour got in huge fight with mum of the bride. Oh my god. Drunk bride wanted it all photographed because she thought it was hilarious. That night I believe the flower girl and I were the only ones not drunk. Wow.
Is this person working, does it say? Or is it just like a
Yeah, I
Just a-
guess that person was the photographer
Okay.
because drunk bride wanted it all photographed. So
Oh, right,
I'm
of course,
guessing
of course, of
she
course.
or he was a photographer.
Woo!
Woo. Okay.
Any other good ones?
That's
there?
crazy, that one. Okay, so the next story is it was my parents' wedding. This is a long story, but the short version is everyone is drunk except my dad. I mean, the bridesmaid, the groomsmen, my mom, even the fucking priest is drunk. One of my parents' friends was in charge of recording the wedding, but he was also shit-faced. The entire wedding was a drunk photographer zooming in on random tattoos and watching everyone else drunkenly stumble around except for a single sober person. A father and okay, I think this is the next one. A father-daughter dance in which their hatred for each other was palpable. It was painful and we felt weird, including those in the album downloaded. And then the next one, I think, is after 10 years of wedding photography, the moment before the ceremony where the groom sneezed a bloody nose onto the front of the bride's beaded dress. Ooh! Apparently he gets bloody noses when he gets nervous.
Oh, we've read that one.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So I guess you read the whole page?
I think so.
The wedding at the pier?
No, we haven't read that one. But I thought that was quite a good one for Scotland.
Okay, the wedding was on a pier. The couple and the planner kept checking the radar on their phones for rain to decide if they should do the wedding on the pier or take it inside. I looked out on the pier and said to them, I don't know what your radar says, but those are rain clouds. They make the call to do the ceremony on the pier anyway. About 3 minutes into the ceremony, it starts to rain. Out of nowhere, a man appears with a heart-shaped wicker box. I always ask the couple if there is anything different about the wedding I should be aware of. They never said anything to me about this, so I was caught off guard. Cool, fine. I just keep shooting. He hands the box to the bride. He opens it up and there are 2 doves in there. Okay, pretty cool. I've heard of a dove release, but had never actually seen one. But the doves were not feeling it. They just sat there and were like, yeah, no, fuck this. It's the beach and it's raining. Bride looks at the bird handler, back at the birds, shakes the box, nothing. He motions for her to scoot them out the box. She reaches in there and they immediately flee the box. They both fly directly into her face. I shot a burst mode and got a pretty wild sequence of shots. One of the birds gets caught in her weave and she shakes her head while swatting at the bird to free it. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And this is all happening in the rain. Oh my god.
Fuck. Oh my god, brilliant.
I don't agree with animals like that being used at ceremonies. The whole dove release I'm not a huge fan of. And
Do they buy them to release them? Is that what they do?
well, I think the idea is they're domesticated and then
they come back.
well,
okay.
with their domestic birds or doves, I think. So when they're released, they don't know how to survive, and then they
Mhm.
can't think.
Weird.
I could be wrong in that, but having animals perform, unless it's like a household pet, like
Yeah.
a real member of your family, then I would not.
That's hilarious. But come on, how could you not see that coming?
I know.
Especially if you're going to shake the box and like piss the birds off. Okay.
Yeah, I love how whoever wrote that has given voices to the doves.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not coming out here. No way.
Fuck
It's
that
like,
shit.
I can just imagine what they'd be saying in
Or
the
like
box.
they're kind
to
of like
be
cuddling
why am I in a
each
box?
other, like let's not go out there. But I think there's a continuation of this. It sounds like it. Yeah, I think there is. Then so I'm going to read the last line and then
Okay.
follow up. One of the birds gets caught in her weave and she shakes her head while swatting at the bird to free it. Then the bottom falls out, pouring rain and heavy winds. The efficient continues like nothing is happening. Zero sense of urgency. People are just getting up and heading inside. One of the family members gets up in the middle of the aisle and starts screaming and chanting, "Just say I do, kiss!" They do, and it starts raining even harder. I backpedal down the pier as they run through the rain. The shots of them running through the rain are actually pretty beautiful. Aww. The whole wedding was a complete mess. They ended up telling me that I was the only thing that went right on their wedding day, and that looking at my pictures made them happy, and that the pictures made the awful day look beautiful. That's fantastic.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
That horror story has
turned
it
a pretty
into
good-
something good for the photographer.
Awesome.
I always find that when you're doing an elopement, you want that mix of weather, right?
Yeah.
You want the heavy rain to get that awesome in the rain kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but you also want it dry so it's not a complete
Guess it
misery
just
the whole day.
depends- Yeah, it depends on the vibe and the style of the wedding. Sometimes
Mhm.
that's how I look at it anyway. Like if it's quite a cool, I don't know, like DIY cool whatever wedding, you take
Mhm,
it
mhm,
different
mhm.
from like one that's maybe more pristine and don't know, like
Yep.
whatever. Anyway,
Mhm.
maybe not the worst, but the saddest. My
Right.
wife shot a wedding for a bride, and her father died later that night. And this, oh my god.
That's Susie, not what's written down.
I'll read it again, but this is already sad and it's hitting me hard. Maybe not the worst, but the saddest. My wife shot a wedding for a bride, and her father died later that night in his sleep of a heart attack. My wife made sure to give them all the night shots, the night photos, over 1,500 photos, and edited them all for her. Usually she only gives 350 to 450 photos for a wedding package. Anyways, really sad situation. Those photos meant the world to the bride, and she's been a return customer for years now. Super sad for the bride though. I'm getting like goosebumps because
Mm.
it's so sad.
Yep. That's
It's really sad.
pretty horrible.
Yeah.
At least she does have those
Yeah,
photographs. That's
for life. That's why.
a silver lining
That's
to a horrible situation.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, damn.
Right, I'll read the next one. After 10 years of wedding photography, the moment before the ceremony where the groom sneezed. Wait. Again, that's.
Is that the same story?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll call it that. That's enough stories to entertain people's little minds.
Yeah, there's been some great stories actually. I'm going to read the other half that Tom has read out. But yeah, I hope everyone has a fantastic Halloween. Jealous if you're going out with your kids to do the knock door thing, if people still do that.
I'm sorry. The knock door thing.
You know, I
It's
used
called
to get
trick or treating or guising.
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 Never heard of that.
Yeah, they are two a little bit different.
Oh,
I don't know what the difference is, but one of them is used to bring a guy with you, like a fox guy, a guy fox guy. Oh my god!
the
You know what? I
heck?
actually
Is
don't.
that
I
like
don't. I don't know. I don't know the differences.
Okay, do you know Chinese people don't really do whatchamacallit, trick or treating, right? So we don't really do it, but I remember like one of the first times when I was really young and in the very first house that we had, someone obviously, our kids chapped the door and my mum's like, what the heck's this? You know what I mean? Probably whatever. She went to the kitchen and just brought out an orange and then chucked it in their bag, and that's it. Like, or a lemon or whatever it was.
A lemon.
It was like probably the worst trick or treat like
Wow.
thing, like gift or whatever that you could get as a
Mhm.
child. An orange or a lemon, whatever it was.
Well, an orange would be okay.
An
A
orange-
lemon would be pretty awful.
It's so funny.
What?
And then as we grew up, obviously, went to school and things, then we realised what it was about. It was fun. You dress up and blah, 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 and get candy. So I used to have like big, massive black bin bags.
Yeah, big
Oh,
massive
so
so
bad. And I would do it twice. Like I would go to my
What?
friend's estate as well to get sweets. But then, yeah,
I feel like this perpetuated your very unhealthy relationship
Oh,
with food.
God, yeah, probably it's
It's,
the reason. And I used to steal
I
my
get it.
sisters and brothers. I'm like, I don't like peanuts. I'm gonna get. Well, I
Who
do-
get right? First of all, this whole thing with my wife loves these things. Monkey nuts.
Okay.
I cannot stand them for Halloween. I can't. If
For
I
Halloween, it sucks. Why
It
would you
sucks.
want nuts? It's like
not even not they're bad tasting nuts. They're like bitter and they're all like skinny and you have to crack them open. I like the cracking open bit.
Yeah.
That's fun. But if they tasted nice, like
What-
an actual peanut or
Yeah.
something, then I'd be okay with it. But
why nuts though? Like why is that like a thing where they sell big bags of nuts to go and put around for Halloween? Is there something to do with monkeys or something? Because pumpkins, I can see kind of why.
I have no idea actually. Maybe because they're cheap and like Halloween is a whole country thing. So
Did you
like
get-
in the States,
yeah.
they'd maybe use a whole load of nuts because they were easy and cheap to manufacture.
Did you ever get like
And grow honey.
money, like as in coppers?
I feel like that
Right.
was more of a guising thing.
Oh,
I feel. a couple for the guy. I don't know if
like,
that's
throw
real.
some coins inside. I'm like, okay.
Well,
I want sweets.
Well,
I don't want
it's
money.
trick or treat. I feel like you have to. So this
See, when
is
they
weird.
say
Trick
fucking-
or treat.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me because in our country, the kids come to the door. They tell you a joke. You choose a pretty bad one, and that's totally cool because it's usually rather cute. And then you give them a treat. That's not trick or treat. That's trick and treat. That's trick for treat.
Yeah.
So why the trick for treat? That's what it should be
Trick
called.
for treat. Trick for treat.
I don't understand. If anyone can clear that up for me, I would be most intrigued to hear
but
what you have to say.
imagine, right, if someone was like, trick or treat, and the guy at the door says trick, and then he tells trick, right, and then the kid tells a joke, and then he's like, oh, thank you, well done, that's great, and then slams the door because it's like, you chose one. You chose trick. You don't get the sweets. If you had wanted treats, then you get the sweets.
Yeah, well, I feel like we kind of, I don't know.
We're spoiling them, basically. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. So let's end part 2. Thank you, Susie, for coming in at a well-timed spot where
I said no. I don't say no enough.
I now need to... What? No to sweets?
No.
Trick or treat? No.
Hey, Susie, would you like to do the podcast?
I hope our listeners have enjoyed today's episode, the Halloween special.
Ooh.
So Susie, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Should we summon the voice of Tom back?
Tom, come back.
There he is. What does he have to say?
Well, that was there's some stories in there.
Some good ones.
That was I felt a bit cringe at points, like, because you can imagine these things happening, and that's just not what you want to have to deal with.
No, it's not.
But thankfully, none of these seem to be critical to the outcome of the wedding, which is good.
Yes.
And I think it's good as well for people to listen to stuff like this, and because we all have bad days, but it happens to absolutely everyone.
Yeah, If you think that you're a high-end photographer and these things don't happen to you, these things absolutely will happen to you eventually.
I would say what I mean, because you can be really good at taking photographs, but I don't think that's necessarily the measure of a photographer or a video maker for weddings, for example. It's when things go wrong.
A video maker.
Cinematographer. I think the measure is when things go wrong on a wedding day, because it's a live event. There's very little control. You can only prepare and react or anticipate. But I think it's when things go wrong, it's how you deal with it and how you find solutions and how you keep everything calm and how you make things progress. I think that's the measure of, that can set you apart, because
100%.
If you just like curl into a ball and don't deal with the situation, I mean, they will be looking to you as someone who is at weddings all the time.
Yeah.
And looking for reassurance, because they don't know what they're doing. It's the first time they've ever done it.
Yeah.
And you should have at least, if not the answer, at least some sort of suggestions and be proactive to help. I think that's super important.
100%. One of my favorite videographers said that as suppliers, we are one step above a chocolate fountain. But if you can go beyond...
Do you know how much oil is in chocolate fountains? Like
it's
fondue
50-50.
No, it's more than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, the one I personally bought was 50% oil, 50%
I think
chocolate.
and like common ones like that are really big and grand. It's like something like 80%
That's horrible.
oil or something. Man, that ruined it for me when I heard.
Yeah. That's disgusting. But yeah, as suppliers, we are just one step above a chocolate fountain at a wedding. We're just another list of things for people to get so they can remember their day or have a great day. But if you can go beyond just doing your job, if you can be the person to help put on a kill, or someone to relieve stress during the preps, or to help organize the ushers, or if you can help with doing any of these things, then that makes you a professional in my mind. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit that subscribe button so that you know the next time an episode goes online. Leave a review. That's a massive help. And spread the word by telling a friend. But until next time, enjoy your afterlife.